You ever wake up one day and realize someone declared war on you quietly behind your back, and you didn't even see it coming? That's what it felt like standing in my robe on my dock, looking at the word junk, spray painted in red across my Navy patrol boat. Light smashed metal, dented my hands, shaking as my coffee mug slipped and shattered on the wood. It was like someone had taken a sledgehammer to a headstone. That boat wasn't just a boat, it was a memory. My last tie to Marcus and Eli, two brothers I lost off the coast of Somalia. I don't care if it looked like rusted junk to some folks, it meant everything to me. And the worst part, I knew exactly who did it. Designer gloves smeared with red paint dropped like breadcrumbs right by the stern. Dana Whitmore, HOA president, local tyrant, power walker-in-chief. She ran Clearwater Shores like it was her kingdom, and we were all just peasants with lawns that had better toe the line. And my boat. She hated it from day one, said it was ruining the aesthetic, lowering property values. Had the nerve to call it a naval relic, like it was a rotting sofa dumped on the curb. I tried to play nice once, brought over blueprints, offered to build a screen to block the view. She looked me dead in the face and said, "Marilyn, this isn't a military museum." Then turned and walked off with her poodles like she'd just blessed me with her presence. So when my boat got trashed and I found those gloves, I wasn't surprised. Furious, yeah, but not surprised. I sent her an email, real polite. Attached photos, repair estimate, $8,700. Her response, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe invest in better security for your garbage barge." That's when I stopped being polite. Next morning, Hector Alvarez, retired IT guy, neighborhood camera king, shows up, grinning with a USB drive. "You're gonna love this," he says. And oh boy, I did. Full-color, high-res footage of Dana herself creeping around my boat at 2:13 a.m. All black clothes like a burglar in a sitcom. Spray paint. Crowbar. Those gloves slipping from her pocket. I had her, clear as day. But Dana, she doubled down. 3 days later, another HOA notice, this time fining me for visual degradation of community standards. She wasn't done. Sent me a fake property survey claiming my dock wasn't on my land anymore. Said the HOA owned the water line. I mean, who just redraws a map and hopes it sticks? That's when I took it to Samantha Boyd at City Planning. Smart, sharp, and no fan of Dana's. One look at the documents and she's like, "This isn't sloppy, it's criminal." Turns out Donna had pulled similar stunts before, but never with this much paper trail. So we started digging. Meanwhile, Dana's out there hosting beautification meetings, going door to door with a petition to remove the war machine. I became the villain. Neighbors stopped waving. Business dried up. Clients backed off after Dana called the Coast Guard and claimed my boat was leaking fuel. Total lie, but it stuck long enough to hurt. Then came the real twist, Dana's nephew, Blake. 19, nervous, always looking over his shoulder. He'd been Dana's lookout the night of the attack. I found an old flashlight under the dock, red paint. D. Whitmore etched on the handle, and when I showed it to Blake, he cracked. Said Dana had roped him into vandalizing homes, faking HOA violations, even talked about planting drugs in my truck to get me arrested. The kid looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. He gave us everything. Confession timeline emails. Said Dana was blackmailing his family. She owned their mortgage, threatened to call it in if he didn't help. Suddenly, this wasn't just about me or my boat. This was a whole neighborhood living under a velvet-wrapped boot. So we went to court. Dana arrived like she was walking a red carpet. Pearl's heels, smugness. Her lawyer rolled in with photos, fake surveys, even resident testimonies from people she'd clearly bullied into silence. But when we presented Hector's footage, Blake's confession, the forged documents, everything unraveled. Then came the haymaker, Walter Jennings. Retired accountant, quiet guy, lives 2 streets over. Shows up with 5 years' worth of records proving Dana had been embezzling from the HOA. Over $200,000. Vacations, landscaping, even a hot tub billed as community maintenance. She stole from everyone while screaming about my boat. The judge didn't need long. 8 years in prison, $450,000 in restitution, including damages to me and everyone else she hurt. They cuffed her right there. She didn't say a word, just stood there, staring like she couldn't believe the show had ended. But the damage, it lingered. Even with the case won, my business was still on fire. Dana's forged reports had spread like mold. I spent weeks calling clients, proving I was legit. Some came back, some didn't. But then, Peterson Marine, biggest client I'd lost, called and said they'd read the court records. They wanted me back, at double pay. As for the neighborhood, Samantha ran for HOA president. Won, of course. We rewrote the charter, put in real checks and balances. People started talking again, smiling. The dock became a bit of a landmark. Kids came by asking about the boat that beat the HOA. We threw a barbecue on her deck that summer. Hector grilled. Walter cracked jokes. Blake and his parents came to finally free of Dana's grip. And when Mrs. Kelly, who once signed that stupid petition, raised her glass and said, "To the man who stood his ground," I felt something shift. Not just relief. Closure. Funny thing is, Dana tried to erase a piece of my past, but she ended up giving me something unexpected. A purpose. A community that stood up. A reason to keep fighting when every instinct said walk away. And yeah, that rusty old boat, it saved this place. So now I want to hear your story. Have you ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or a power-hungry neighbor like Dana? Drop it in the comments, because something tells me Clearwater Shores ain't the only place this kind of thing goes down.